Twin Rivers Candidate Forum. We have set aside 30 minutes of this meeting for this opportunity to hear from both candidates. And we have some questions that we'll start with that were submitted beforehand. If you have a question for the candidate, please direct message Julie. Do not put it in the chat to everyone. It will not be asked. And we also would ask that you refrain from using the chat function while our candidates are speaking so that everyone can give their full attention to Mr. Robbins and Ms. Sandoval. I'm just going to go over the format really quick. We have 2 candidates. Each will be giving us a 2-minute opening statement. We have questions, as I mentioned, and each candidate will have an opportunity to answer each question 90 seconds. And who is my timer today?
I am.
You are.
You will be getting, I'm old school, 30 seconds left. Finish up. Of course, you can finish up, you know, those last few seconds. We won't cut you off, but we do ask you to watch the time. And
can both of the candidates see those?
Can both candidates, can you see them? Okay.
Yes.
Rebecca, can you see them?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
good. And Brandy, should I go over how I'm going to mute everybody, or did you want to do that?
You may go ahead, and I think everybody is muted now.
Okay, they should be. And so everybody will be muted. And then said all questions, and the only people that will not be will be the candidates, of course, and Brandy. And Julie, do we unmute you to, or can you just send them over to Brandy, the questions? Okay. I also was planning on turning off all cameras due to that very unfortunate incident in the District 3 one, except for the candidates and Brandy and me, so you can see. So that's why we're turning off everybody. We want to make sure that there are no really unfortunate distractions by people who have nothing better to do in their life than disrupt community forums.
Okay.
So with that,
then we'll also have questions from the audience sent to Julie, and closing statements, 2 minutes for each candidate. So Annette, if you want to go ahead and do the mute all camera bit and give me a thumbs up when it's good to go, we will get started.
Okay, let me see. That's see, I want to stop video there. And Liz, if you could just turn your video off. That's a lead. Oh no, she is. Sorry. The picture's so good I didn't notice. Okay. Well,
are we good to go?
Yeah, and I will mute myself also because I'll just use these. And let me just get to my timer here. And as if I do this, that's okay. You know what? I guess once the question starts, that's when your time starts. Okay. Once a question finished being asked. And Brandy, I'm assuming you're going to go back and forth on each of the candidates. Each one will start. Okay.
That's my plan. Yes. Yeah. All right. So this evening, let's start with Mr. Robbins for your opening statement, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robbie Robbins. I am running for Twin River School Board because I'm a born and raised leader in the neighborhood. I got kids in the district. Been a coach in the school district for 10 years. I am a fire starter in good ways. I started a grassroots effort called Gardenland Proud to save the park of Gardenland that we know and very love. Ended up merging with the GNNA, and now I'm a board member in the GNNA. I eventually outwent my roots and went with the Natomas Garden Arts Collective, foreseeing to make our Garden Arts Center go into fruition over there on Truxell Boulevard, which would be very beautiful. I also work with other nonprofits like the Stanford Settlement, the Greenhouse, Sac Tree Foundation to make sure that we can always have somewhere for kids that have a place to go after school and stay out of trouble. And you know, I just really wanted to be a part and just born leader. You see me rolling up my sleeves every day in the neighborhoods, and I'm very easy to talk to. And I think that's the perspective that we need to change, is lead by doing and always do good. And I'll be looking forward to everyone's questions.
Thank you. Ms. Sandoval, your introductory statement, please.
Yeah, I'm a lifelong Sacramentan, lived in this neighborhood over 65 years. I brought to the board my experience and skills through over 50 years as a community activist, starting at age of 13. I'm a 32-year dedicated state employee, mother and grandmother with grandsons still in the district. Once voted in a trustee, I then pursued my master's in governments. So along with my knowledge and tools that I gained in state government, it made me a very effective school board member. I have been president once, vice president twice, came in during a time when the school board was embattled. It was terrible what was going on. Our community, specifically Northgate Boulevard, was being targeted by the police department. Community and teachers asked me to run for the school board. When I did, I helped to write up the corrective action plans with the Sacramento grand jury to move the district forward. And as president, helped to revise the way in which the school board meetings were run so that they could be more effective. When I came on board, we had 2 sets of attorneys in every school board meeting. Meetings were running from 5 o'clock till 2 in the morning. These attorneys were each getting paid $250 an hour. Saw that stopped. We need a facility improvement. We've come very, very far. And as far as curriculum is concerned, we've done some great things like dual enrollment, dual immersion programs, have implemented SWAN math, so our math scores are going up. And I'm very committed to remaining on the board to continue the work that we have done. I do not want to see us regress and all the wonderful progress we've made be all for naught. I am a 5-time cancer survivor. And
Time,
when
Ms. Sandoval. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you very much. All right, we are moving on to our first question. Just a reminder, if you have questions, you send them to Julie in the chat. And each candidate has 90 seconds to answer these questions. Ms. Sandoval, we will start with you. What are your top priorities for the next school year?
One is to have an increase of counselors, mental health specialists, behavior intervention specialists, paraeducators, because that will make the teachers, I'll give them some tools that they need to be able to meet their endeavors. I also want to see a thorough and police department manual so that we can show that there is transparency and accountability. And thirdly, I want to see a return of student school board member there at our board meetings. Those are my 3 top priorities at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Robbins. Same question.
You know, reason why I'm really running, one of my key things to be a voice for our parents, teachers, and students. We don't really have that going on right now. So I feel like I'm being a leader in the community as I am. I could really be a good voice on the board for our neighborhood because they come to me already for problems that happen. We got to understand the diversity of our area. It's one of the most diverse zip codes in the world. You know, we got to understand the different types of the problems that each race has over here, because some things have not been addressed. And, you know, I want to change the perspective of Twin Rivers. A lot of people are going out of the Twin Rivers. They say it's a bad district, but I've been here my whole life. I met my wife in art class, in Miss Stipple's class. Now my kids are going there. I coached there for 10 years. I know it's a great school, but you never hear it. You always hear the bad things. And one little thing happens. We have News 10 at the front of Grant High School, even though it was on Zoom. They act like it happens at the school. We need to change perspective. It's a great school. It's a great district. We just need to have them see it. And I look forward of doing that, being a trustee of the Twin Rivers School Board. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Robbins. Second question, we'll start with you. How will you build relationships with your fellow board members?
Is that for me?
Starting with Mr. Robbins.
Oh, okay.
You know, we got to all be transparent. You know, every issue in each district needs to be addressed. You know, when there are calls answers, you know, time is money, and, you know, it shouldn't be thrown away. Calls need to be answered, and we need to work as a board together to grow into fruition. Once again, I was at the Sac City strike downtown. It was very beautiful seeing what we learned, what not to do when a superintendent doesn't come to the table, what we don't do, you know, and see what we can work together to bring the superintendent to the table so we can make sure that our teachers and classified, everyone is treated right, a voice is heard, and you're there to fight for what's right. And so that's what I'll do.
Ms. Sandoval?
Yes, what I would do is I will apply everything that I learned in the courses I took in obtaining my master's in governance, which schooled me on how to deal with many, many issues. Main thing is follow the Brown Act. That is something that we need to do, and respect that as a board. And that's certainly something that I'm very careful to enforce. There is a process for board members interacting with each other on the dais, and I will continue to use that process to try and bring my concerns forward. When at the board meetings, we need to make sure that process is being followed, allowing each person to speak, and have respect for one another.
Thank you. Ms. Sandoval, we'll start with you on this third question. How would you improve the diversity of Twin Rivers staff?
I would, okay, me personally, I can't do it, but I'll tell it from a perspective of what the district should do. And I think it needs to continue doing what it is doing, like having job fairs, like doing recruiting on the, through the newspapers, through various media sources, through social media, letting people know what is available. I will tell you that when I first got on the school board, the whole district office was pretty much whitewashed. There were very few principals of color, very few teachers of color. That has changed, and I want to continue to see that change, and providing professional development, those kind of things, making it easier for teachers to come on board is going to help us continue having diverse staff.
Mr. Robbins?
When we go through the hiring process, I would really look into see what is more of the diverse of that school. Like I think Grant always be a school to my heart, but it has a huge Hmong and Laos race. So if we could somehow get a good Hmong and race teachers and classified in there, see a face that they're familiarized, that it would be a better workplace to have people that look just like our students in there. I think that would be an excellent way to get the start of this going. You know, like I said, understanding the diversities of our schools will make it so much better. But yeah, that would just be a start on that. You know, like Rebecca said, there's always job fairs, there's all kinds of different ways. But I would think if we hire on the higher numbers of the diverse in the schools, then make sure they have a friendly face and maybe even a family member that they could come to in their ways. So that'd be one way I would do it.
Okay, I'm going to insert a question from our watchers. How will you be able to work with the youth, gain their trust, and be able to relate with them, Mr. Robbins?
Well, I've been in the neighborhoods for years. I'm a very friendly face. There's not a day that goes by that everyone yells Coach Rob at some point. I just came from open house earlier today that we're having a Smythe Academy, and there's over a dozen kids that run up, just shake my hand and everything. You know, we're be a good role model for the area, someone they could relate to, and they could be like, hey, I could do that one day, you know, roll up your sleeves and do the good thing. Because it's so hard to do the good thing, but it's worth it at the end of the day. So easy to do the wrong thing. We got to teach these kids wrong or right. And that just starts with being great role models for our kids. And so if we have great role models and guide them in the right ways, we could definitely do that. One of the kids I coach is actually on ankle monitor right now. And we had the Shaq Thompson camp at the ARC. So he really wanted to go, but he was on ankle monitor. So I had to go personally and talk to his parole officer and see, hey, he really wants to go to this camp. He's only in 10th grade. He made some bad choices, but we can't give up on him. So we went and he just signed off on it. He's okay, let's go. So I went over there. He didn't have cleats. I went out of my way and bought him cleats for him. And then he went and had a great time. He's a 2-time MVP of that, had a great time. And so little things like that, stepping out of your range and make sure you go out of your way to make sure a kid is not lost.
Ms. Sandoval?
Yes. Could you repeat the question?
Sure. How will you be able to work with the youth, gain their trust, and be able to relate to them?
Okay, I think what's key is working with the after-school programs. That's where a lot of our children go, and they get to, and them being able to see you there and let them know that you came from the same neighborhood they did. You've had some obstacles, and encouraging them to continue their education and to value the education that they have. There are times when parents contact me, especially lately with our LGBTQ youth, looking for help with them. So finding resources for the youth, that's extremely important. Also, going to the schools, letting the kids see you now and then, that's important also. Okay, see my time's up.
Thank you. Another question from the audience.
And just reminder, the yellow means you have 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. And the red is done. Okay, all right. I've been cheating myself.
Ms. Sandoval, you get to go first with, how would you revitalize local school sites into the 21st century?
I think with the advent of COVID, what we need to do, and this is something that a district is looking at, is we are going to be developing outdoor spaces, more outdoor spaces in our schools, so that in the event that that it wouldn't be to their benefit, to their health benefit, to remain in the classroom, that we have spaces outdoors. Our schools are aging. We have 53 schools. Some of our schools are over 80 years old. We need to improve the pipes, our HVAC system. Those are some of the things we need to do. We need to continue using technology and bringing more of that into the classroom to make for a better learning environment. And I think we need to look at leadership building within our schools so that teachers feel a part of a team. And that is something that's been happening. That's very important to create a good 21st century learning environment.
Thank you. Mr. Robbins?
Well, I think with COVID, we kind of already started hybrid learning. So everyone's kids learn from home. If they can't make it, you do have all kinds of PCs and different programs. But before we get into the 21st century, there's a lot of schools that have stuff that the basics are not working. Like Ms. Sandoval, there's AC units that we paid for at Grant High School that just don't work. You got kids walking to school freezing. They don't want to go to school, so they're cold in the first period. They got blankets, not because it's cold on the walk there, because they're freezing inside the classroom. So they can't learn at all if they can't even get the temperature right in there. So when we get to the 21st century, at least we turn the dial up on the heater. But, you know, I think the process of the 21st century, like I said, hybrid is one thing. We could have that, you know, we could have different school districts kind of teaching us, you know, collaborate on that aspect. That have guest teachers, there's guest speakers, there's YouTubers that are professors that would love to join in virtually, stuff like that. Programs like Geo at Grant High School, you know, they teach them how to grow food by themselves, you know, like reading the air blueprint, you know, and so there's all kinds of ways that you can learn to be hybrid. And I think we're already got that step going on and just keep on moving forward with that aspect. You know, hybrid learning is the new start. And I think COVID kind of kicked us in the wazoo and got us going already. So looking forward to see what the next step is.
Okay. Mr. Robbins, another question from my audience. How will you increase STEM programs in middle/high schools?
STEM programs as in?
That's all it says, STEM. How will you increase STEM programs in middle and high schools?
Well, there's all kinds of programs that you can learn and reach out to. I'm not sure. I must be, it's been a long day for the STEM programs, but I'm more than happy to do my own research and find out what every program could be available and be a focal point to put it on the board and see what our educators feel about adding what kind of programs and which direction they could go in. So, you know, that's where I would start with that. I'm not really sure with the STEM. I think Ms. Sandoval probably has a little better insight on that, but I would love to look forward to anything.
Thank you, Ms. Sandoval.
Yes, I think we're way ahead of the game with the implementation of SWAN math. Prior to implementing that particular type of learning, our math scores are very low, so that has made it fun for our kids. I mean, kids are saying, you know, hey, I get it, I understand it. So that has really helped. We have implemented dual enrollment where our students are now able to take college courses from ARC and receive college credits. So that is another way that they are finding STEM. We have media classes where our children are able to learn about various technologies and to apply them. Putting them into various conferences and workshops that are being offered out there where they can go and learn about the various types of programs that are available to them is something that is of great benefit for the children. We've got to spark an interest. We've got to help them see why it is important that they be involved in STEM. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Sandoval, we will start with you on this question. What services should Twin Rivers provide to unhoused students and their families?
I will answer that question with letting you know a couple of things. We have a counselor that's dedicated to work with our unhoused students. During COVID, we knew that our children, our homeless children, did not have some place to go and do their homework. So we contracted with a program where space was provided for the children to do their homework. During COVID, we served over 5 million meals to make sure every child had breakfast, lunch, and supper. It's important that the children be fed to do that. Bringing in mental health specialists and behavior intervention specialists, all of those things are very important. We know that some of our homeless children have gone through the foster program. We have counselors that can go with them and to meetings that they need to be attending, and that again is one-on-one. So those are some of the things that we can do for our children, some of the things we do and some of the things we can continue to do. Oh, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Okay.
I muted myself and forgot. Okay, next question is, how should the schools or school district assist students with employment? Oh, wait, sorry, I missed Robbie. Go back, Robbie, you get to answer this question and I will repeat it since I got off board there. What services should Twin Rivers provide to unhoused students and their families? Sorry, everyone.
No worries. I think Twin Rivers already has a resource center available to us right now. And so we just got to get back to our kids and let them know that we have that. But, you know, part of that is fixing the marketing, that there's organizations that reach out to Twin Rivers that we just simply don't get back to them. There was going to be a homeless woman and children's shelter on Northgate that was going to get on, but we were pushed back and denied. And now that's switched into a homeless hospice for by Joshua House. That's going to be on that same spot. Since then, and reached out, Natomas district were able to get the hotel in front of Target to be a women and children's shelter. So that's one way we could kind of manipulate the goals that they already achieved on that aspect. But, you know, time is important. Calls needs to be answered on the aspect. We can't have kids out here. And speaking for myself, at one point I was unhoused. I know how it is. I was living on the Freeport Boulevard, as we called it, camping at the time. You know, it's not a safe environment to live in. So we got to get back to these people. We got to make resources to make sure that they're in a safe place, they are fed, they're ready to go to school, a safe learning environment, a safe living environment. So just to manipulate what they are already doing on the other side of the 80.
All right, thank you for real this time. How should the schools or school district assist students with employment or work study? Mr. Robbins.
Well, like Rebecca says, there's already programs involved to get them the you know, college credits and stuff like that. And they do have job fairs that happen at Grant High School. I've seen we got the local iron workers that have a school there already downtown, the local 188 that endorsed me. They have a nice way of getting them in there and get a nice 4-year degree. So there's options out there. Like I said, they just got to communicate them to our students. You know, the resource centers need to be involved. We got to be reaching out to these kids and seeing. And they do this all the time. We want to see what these kids want to do with life. A lot of them don't know. It's one of those things that you're like, what are you gonna do with your life? What are you gonna do? Like, they don't know, but let's present some options to them and see which way we could get them in the way, so they don't really have to jump out of high school, don't know what direction to go, and, you know, get jobless, homeless at a very quick age. Let's jump across that and make it happen for these kids, because they're better leaders, show them the way, lead by doing and always doing good.
Ms. Sandoval?
Please repeat the question. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. How should the schools or school district assist students with employment or work study?
I think one thing that we need to realize is not every child wants to go to college. And we have 32 career technical educational programs, so that children can, in fact, look at when they I want to say retire, when they graduate, that they're able to move into the building and trades. Part of that is connecting them with the various unions and letting them know what in fact is available for them. I think the dual enrollment program, where students take college courses, they realize that there is something that they can a career that they can pursue, and while already in high school. That's extremely important. What we have found is that at Grant High School, which does have a large Hmong population, they've now become teachers at Grant High School, which is pretty cool. I really want to see a pathway to teaching in our schools. I think that's extremely important, so that the children remain here in the district. We need to let them know about any career fair that comes available, and those programs that are put on by the city, have our students take part in that.
Thank you. All right, we have reached the end of our questions and the timing is just right for our closing statements. Ms. Sandoval, since you just answered the last question, you may start with your closing statement. And I believe you each have 2 minutes, correct?
Okay, this is for me?
Yes,
Okay.
your closing statement.
Yeah, I want to thank you for taking the time today. And I want to have your vote so that, as I said, we can continue the good work that we've done. I don't want to see us regress. And I'm very, very proud that we are a district now that is fiscally solvent. Having a financial fiduciary responsibility is one of the most important things that a school board member can live up to. And we've been able to do that. And that's going to allow us to be able to expand on other programs, more facility improvement. And that's something that we've had a lot of debate among the board. We've come to a lot of consensus. And I want to end with this. We are basically at this point a 7-0 board. And that means almost on everything we vote together. There will be that occasion when we don't, and there is time for discussion, and I will certainly bring my point home when I'm there advocating for our community or for programs that I think are going to help our students the most. I will always, always look at student achievement as my #1 priority while sitting up there at the board. And that involves a lot of different things, like keeping our facilities clean, like looking at the curriculum that's being developed, bringing in diverse teachers, all of those things. I will continue that should I be elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sandoval. Mr. Robbins, closing statement, please.
Thank you for your time, everybody. Once again, I've been a local leader in the area, born and raised in the area. I'm on the board of many things because I like to lead by good and be a great role model for everybody. I look forward to doing the change. You know, like I said before, there's things that are just not built right. And so I fought with the unions. That's why I'm endorsed by Sacramento Labor Council, the iron workers, because we want to make sure our facilities are built right. I'm learning to be a great politician. That's why I'm endorsed by the Democratic Party of Sacramento County, Women Democrats. I like to fight for mental health. That's why Stonewall has endorsed me. The teachers, I really want to see them get their raises. Inflation's up by 8%. 2% raises are not going to cut it. That's why I'm endorsed by Twin Rivers United Educators, CSEA, and I just love being out in the area, helping out and being a role model, lead by doing. I don't tell people what to do. I just do it myself. If you don't believe me, see me do it every day. I'm out here in the streets every day, working for Gardenland, Northgate, Strawberry Manor. I'm a coach for a lot of different kids. They love me and they just always love to see what I do, and I love to be a role model for them. My door is always open for everybody. So, I mean, look at my track record. This is the change that we need in the area. So I really hope I get your guys' vote. Call me anytime. I'm always open door, open arms, and I love to be a friend, role model to anybody, all ages. And thank you for your time, everybody. I would love to have your vote June 7th, Robbie Robbins.
All right, thank you, Mr. Robbins and Ms. Sandoval, and everyone who submitted questions, and for bearing with us as we tried to make sure that we had a nice, clean forum this evening. I'll just remind you that Election Day is Tuesday, June 7th, and I believe Stanford Settlement and the South Natomas Library are both ballot drop locations, and
So is La Superior Market.
And La Superior Market. All right. So we'll see you on Election Day. Ballots, our ballots came in the mail today. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, it should be arriving soon. Thanks, everybody, for having me moderate this evening. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Brandy.
And I just wanted to tell people, you don't have to, I understand you want to put the stamps on your absentee ballot for it to be accepted. Is that correct, Annette?
That's correct.
Yep, that's what a lot of people think, that they've got to put those 2 stamps, but you don't have to. Okay.
All right.
Okay, that concludes our Twin Rivers Candidates Forum. And I want to thank Annette, Brandy, and Julie for putting this together and facilitating the discussion. It was very informative, and it's important for us to hear from both candidates. And I also just want to stress the importance of everybody going out and voting. Your vote does make a difference.